All right. So what we're doing is cleaning up the integrity, the promises that you made and kept, promises you made and didn't keep. And can you put your name tag so I can see it? And Sasha, what Sasha said, can you, because you're going to keep gleaning. And what Sasha said is she noticed in her life that there were some promises and things that she said that she would do and didn't do it. And she's acknowledging that she said she was going to do it and didn't do it. And that actually puts it in the past. So you'll want to, this is a term of art, clean it up with the person you made the promise. So let's talk a few minutes about cleaning up promises, broken promises. So when you make a promise and you don't fulfill it, there's an expectation on the other side that was unfulfilled. Right? I expected these people to come to class, yes, and they didn't. So now I'm apt to be less present than I would normally be. So there's an impact. There's an impact for them not keeping the promise to be here. If they did, I'm not sure that they did or not, but if they did, you know, their being in the class seems to me like a promise. Yeah.
It's a little point that I think that we have this class next lesson at 4:30. So maybe some of these people are dismissed because of time.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so
lost lessons and
they may come and we'll do another class with them. Okay, good point. That's a good point. There could be a misunderstanding. But that begins to start putting the integrity in. And when you have the integrity in, you're freed up. But anyway, back to these expectations. That person expected something of you, and you didn't do it. And what there is to say, you know, I promised that I would do that. And what is it that, how can I make that up to you? How can I restore my word with you?
What am I going to do now in this situation? How can I going to clean up to this person, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's really hard for me.
It is. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel
know.
very embarrassed now.
Yes. But you know what happens when, all right, let's say I promised you that, let's see, what can I promise you? That I was going to do this, an extra session with you. And then I didn't do it. And now I'm going to be embarrassed. And so I don't even call you and tell you, or I just miss it, and then I'm still embarrassed, so then I just go away. Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you left with?
I think that I would wait for some minutes. Then I would personally think that you might be very busy. You might have any other appointment for this moment, which is more important than our extra class. Well, in this situation, I would forgive your missing our
Okay.
appointment.
Okay. Now let's say I do it again. Finally, some time goes by, and then I run into you on the street and go, oh yeah, you know, let's do another lesson, right? And you're going to teach me Russian, and I'm going to teach you something about leadership. And we make this appointment, and I don't show up again.
Well, and if you miss the next class, yeah.
Yes, but so who do I start to become for you? Is somebody unreliable?
Yeah.
Liar.
A liar? Can you?
No, maybe more unreliable than a liar because.
Well, for them I would be a liar. You have a more generous listening, but after a while, you're not going to trust me.
Well, yes, but anyway, still in my thoughts, you would stay. I don't know, maybe. I'm sorry. Are you a professor, or maybe you're someone who has any, like.
Oh yeah, I'm more important than you. Right?
Yeah. In this point.
And that makes it okay for me to be slimy with my agreements,
Well,
because I'm important.
Well, I think that if person maybe has any position in this world, so he or she is teaching or giving his knowledge to other people, it makes him or her more important than all of us.
Mhm. Is that how you all roll around here? Do you know what I mean? Is professors, it's okay, and teachers, it's okay for them to blow off, not keep their word, not keep their agreements, and you have to just live with it? Is that,
No.
no? Okay, well, that's a little bit what I'm hearing here. But are you gonna trust me now? Now, there's a third time, it's like I run onto you and say, oh, Sasha, you know, I really do want to learn Russian, and I have this great stuff for leadership course that you wanted to learn, and, you know, so we're going to trade, and let's set up another appointment. What are you going to think about that?
Well, I would be now, I wouldn't know what to do because you dismissed once.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what to do, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you trust me?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be so.
Yeah,
so
you
certain.
would not be so trusting, would you?
Yeah.
You would might say things, are you sure you really want it? Yeah?
No, I wouldn't do this. I would say, oh, okay, of course, if you can give me a class, I would be very, very pleasant. But now, in my thoughts, I wouldn't be so certain.
Yes, exactly. Now, let's say what happened is the first time that I didn't meet you, I called you and I said, Sasha, you know, I said that we were going to meet and trade, and I can't make it. And I know that you're out there at the coffee shop waiting for me, and you know, and you took the metro all the way in here, and it was a big inconvenience for you, and you know, and I'm not holding up my end of the promise, my deal, right? So how can I make that up to you?
No, if you called me.
Yeah, if I called you. Now, I'm embarrassed, right, because I missed.
Mhm.
I'm an important guy, and I always do what I say, but I missed, right? And it's really embarrassing for me, because I'm an important guy, right? So,
Well,
but I swallow my pride or whatever, and I call you on the phone anyway.
I would say that it's okay for me if we will how to say it? We change the time for our class, and I would be so. I would say okay, let's change the time of our class.
Okay, but how, I understand what you would do, but how would our relationship be when I called you and I said, you know, I cleaned up the mess that I made, and I asked you, well, how can I make this, what is our relationship now like?
My relation to you would be positive anyway. Well, I would thought of you better, worse if you didn't do anything. If
You
didn't
would.
call me.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Think of me worse if I wouldn't do anything. So it really doesn't matter if I'm embarrassed. It really makes no difference over there, my emotional state. So if I'm committed to empowering you in our relationship, the embarrassment and the looking bad is really, you just kind of got to get over it. Can you see that? If you want to be a trustworthy person and honor your word, you kind of got to get over the embarrassment of the times that you say you were going to do something and didn't do it. And there will be plenty of them. And if you play a very big game, there's going to be lots of big promises you make and you won't keep them. And it's going to be embarrassing. But if you want to be a person that honors their word and be trustworthy, I will clean it up with you. Because that's more important than my feeling embarrassed and looking bad and being humiliated. Can you see that? Okay, excellent. Yeah.
But it's another kind of situation when if someone did something didn't keep a promise for me, and they call and say me why they didn't and try to clean up, I respect it. But I have some situation when I was trying to clean up, and people they don't respect it, and they behave like, of course she should call me, it's obvious, and they still was angry about me and don't try to go and connect.
Yes. Yeah. Some people will do that. That's the impact of not keeping your word. of not honoring it. Some people will be upset with you, and they won't forgive you no matter how much you beg for their forgiveness. They'll wanna anyway. And you know, that's just the way that is. That happens sometimes. Yeah, thanks for that. All right. So, anything else about Dan? Yes.
If we were ill, for example, and we couldn't come to a meeting or something else, we didn't honest this person, but we had circumstances, very important circumstances. What should we do?
Yeah. So what you're saying is you promised one thing, and then another thing came up, like you got sick or something. Your doctor said stay home. It's not a good idea to go out. What do you do? That's your question.
Yes.
What do you do to keep the integrity, and what do you do? That's a good question. What do you do? Yeah.
If you have a number, that person that you are going to meet, you just need to call or just write a message that you couldn't come
Yeah.
because you can't, and it's very important to explain why you can't, because if you just say, oh, I can't come, they can think that, oh, she just changed his mind or her mind, so that's all. But if you say that you are ill or have something else, so I think that they will forgive you that and then change that. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But if we hadn't no number, no email, and no contact.
Right. Yes. Where you can't clean it up. Yes. Well, you'll need to clean it up when you see the person, and you can clean it up, right?
Right, but she or he might be so angry.
They probably will be. Yeah. Get their email and telephone number so you can call them, right?
Right.
Don't make an agreement to somebody that you can't be in communication with. If you're committed to not leaving people upset around you. Yeah? Okay. Now, you brought up this part about reasons, and we're going to see during the course that they're not as important as you think. We like to give reasons why we did stuff, and we almost think that the reasons are as good as doing the thing we said. If the reason is good enough, it excuses the behavior. And you're going to find out that that's not the truth. There's maybe a more powerful way. It's like, Ola, I said I promised I was going to do this. I didn't do it. How can I make it up to you? I didn't tell you I had a doctor, I was sick, or whatever.
Yeah, but sometimes when you didn't say, it's just like people begin to think why, or they are very interested in the point why he or she couldn't
Well,
do
then
that.
they can ask if they want to know,
Yeah.
right? They could. But you're just going to probably make something up anyway. All right. What else? Oh yeah, okay. Anything else about that? So, you did some collages. Yes. Do you want to share your collages now, or should we wait till a few more people do them, because there's more promises next Tuesday, correct? And we can do it now, or we can do it next Tuesday.
I think it's better to do it next Tuesday and to compare some collages and to have a good
All right,
discussion.
so we'll do that.
Sorry,
Yes.
and should we explain what is on this collage and why
I
did
will-
I?
Yes, I will
collage
show
such
you
pictures,
how
yes.
to ask somebody to get into their world of what it is that they see. When you collage something, it's the way it looks to you, and it's really your world. And they aren't going to, surprisingly enough, they aren't going to see it the same way you did. And the collage is a way for me and other people to see how you have it all put together. And then you'll also see how you'll see it in a different way, and you'll be free, you'll see what happens, you'll be free to. Okay. So so that's complete. We're going to do that next classroom. Okay, now some of you did this experiment, this course experiment, where you're catching yourself judging and evaluating people. And it's not like you do it, it's automatic, right? You just have to walk out on the street or wake up and you're judging and evaluating. And we do it ourselves too, right? With ourselves, not just other people. So, would you want to share from that what you saw, what opened up from you?
Yes, yesterday I was walking on the street and was observing people who were stood in front of me and who were passing down the street, and I saw just a lot of girls. Sorry, a lot of girls who were very similar, and such as girls that are crossing down the streets here near Mahila Academy. Now they were not there were nothing in their appearance maybe which reflected their yes, their personality maybe. No such details. They seemed not interesting to me. Maybe that concerning the majority of people, I maybe wouldn't make friendship with them or even spoke to them. But there were such interesting people. For example, I saw a young man who was wearing the blue, very bright blue sport wearing, and with a mess at his head with his hair. And I thought that it is very bright person. Maybe he's the member of some youth organization or some music band which plays some interesting music, not the ordinary personality. And I thought that I saw him for an instance, but it caused a smile on my face because he was very bright and colorful among that gray mass which I saw previous 10 or 15 minutes. Yes, and then I saw one man in the underground who was standing in front of me, and I stared at him for some minutes to understand what he feels standing here. And he had red hair, and he was a little bit fat and very funny. And I thought that he feels shy or embarrassed or something like that, because he was very I saw it and I thought that he felt very uncomfortable standing there. Something, I don't know, and that what attracted my attention.
So, was that unusual? Did you set aside some judgment and evaluation? Those are kind of for visit. Well, I guess you can sit there. But normally, those chairs against the wall are for visitors. Okay. So did something open up for you? Was something revealed that wouldn't have been revealed otherwise?
In this people?
Yeah.
These unusual people. Well, it's very interesting to observe people. Sometimes I do such things, even going down the underground, where you see the people who are going upstairs, and you have just 5 seconds to see them, and it may some people smile to you, some are in a bad mood, you see. you feel that they're in bad mood, and then it makes maybe your mood better because you see the smiling faces and it inspires you maybe. If we compare these two people, these two men, one was very bright and unordinary, and the other was very shy and very something like that.
Okay, those are all your judgments and evaluations about people. Yes?
Maybe I didn't express my thoughts in the right way, I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you, I'm not telling you. Right, those were all, when you saw, those were the judgments and evaluations of the people that you saw. Yeah? Okay. Anything else about that?
If something will come to my mind later.
Okay. And some of them made you feel certain ways. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
Well, firstly, when I was looking at just like people, I thought that I catch people who are in bright clothes. So it's very interesting for
It's
me.
clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes. And there's no such word as closes.
Sorry.
Okay. You know that too, don't you?
Yeah, clothes.
Okay. All right.
So, and as usual, I see people in Ukraine are wearing only black or brown,
Yeah.
just like t-shirts or just pants or I don't know. I don't know why, but just like casual style. But when you see people just like in red or in yellow, they just pay you attention. And so that was the first fact. And then I like to look at faces and to see and try to think what people would think at that time. And sometimes you see that they're just repeating something, they're talking to themselves, or they're just like looking at something and they're very intention, or some of them, as Masha said, are smiling. So, and it's very interesting just like to think what they're thinking. So it's my way to judge.
Wow, very good. I got it. That's great. That's not exactly what I asked you to do. Not exactly. So, you know, the assignment was to put aside those judgments and evaluations and listen to them as a contribution. What contribution they could be. Would you say you did that?
What kind of
Would you
contribution do you mean, Jordan?
What contribution are they? Would you say you do that? Just give me a yes or a no.
The contribution in our life?
Okay, thank you. Did you?
Please explain what you mean with
Listening, okay, so you had some emotions and you saw some different people and some made you feel good and some didn't make you feel good, and there was this guy, you know, he was colorful and, you know, and you talked to him, and so, you know, there's this whole judgments and evaluation, and to set that all aside and to see kind of what contribution they are. What contribution they are.
To our life contributions? Or
Yeah, anywhere, anything. Anything.
for example, in my way, when
Now wait, I don't want you to answer that question. I'm asking you if you did that. That's because that's what I said. That's what I asked you to do. And you said, no, I didn't do that.
yeah, but I just
No
think
yeah
that-
buts.
I just didn't understand you correctly because I think their contribution to my life is that when I see their faces,
Or a contribution to the world, or just a contribution to humanity, just a
yeah, their contribution to life is that they were born, so it's their contribution to the world.
All right, okay. All right, so you're present to the contribution that they just are because they're
Yeah.
there. Okay, so then you did the homework.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe I'm
good.
just-
Now,
I think that each of this person does something important in their fields, and it depends upon what is their aim, maybe to.
yes. So were you present to that? After you got present to all these emotions and the feelings and all that, and you set that aside, were you present to the contribution that they were?
I didn't
Okay,
know
good,
about
thank you.
it.
That's all I want to know. However, there is something that you produce, that we'll get to later on in the course, this is really remarkable. You managed to produce something in a course called being out here. You were out here. Do you know that both of you look different already in this course? By the way, all of you, if you hang around long enough, you'll start looking different. Do you notice that these two guys, they look different? You've been out here with people. You produce a transformation in your life. I mean, it was kind of an accident, but in looking for your judgments and evaluations, and at least to some degree you set them aside because you weren't in here anymore, right? You weren't in here. You were out here with them. Yes? We're going to do a lot of work on that. So while you didn't do the homework, the result you produced was remarkable from engaging with the homework. Can you see that? Yeah? So that's what's going to happen. When you do the homework, you're going to produce remarkable, unexplainable results. But you got to do the homework. They did the homework. They look different. It's not that y'all look the same. It's not bad. You do the homework and you'll start looking different. All right. So anything else about that? Does anybody want to ask them any question or anything about running their experiment? You don't have to. It's fine. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yes, you said you saw this bright guy, and what kind of stereotypes you take aside to see him?
Well, maybe the first thought that came to my mind that he has very funny and joyful friends. He gathers them together in big company, and they always have fun. I thought that his life maybe isn't just that so hard. Maybe it is in bright colors, and but then I thought that maybe such bright clothes, such a bright image at all that he makes and on other people is a way to hide maybe something that he has inside. Well, how to explain? Maybe that is. Did you catch my?
What's the
Well,
Russian word or English word?
what?
I mean, Russian word or Ukrainian word that you used?
Which word?
I don't know, the one you used to make her
I
understand.
just understand. I catch that she saw a guy in
Yeah.
bright clothes.
Yes?
So first thing was that he might be a funny guy,
Yes?
but then she took aside this
Yes.
thought about brightness.
Yes?
Think maybe this colorful
This is-
dress is just for
This
hiding
way-
something sad inside or something just not funny.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And to do that, she had to be out here with him. Good work. Anything else about that? Okay. Okay, on your name tags, you want to put the name you want to be called, like if people, Alexei, you have that right. And then you want to put down below it the name that you want on your certificate. If you want it in English, write it in English. If you want it in Russian or Ukrainian, write it in that language, okay? So you'll write that down before you leave today, okay? All right. We're going to do something else. If you read the if you read the,
Германцы, по-моему, знают. Как тяжело догадаться.
if you read the pre-course readings, you would know that this ontological, phenomenological model, this leadership course is actually, you wouldn't know this from reading, so scratch that I said that, is a kind, do you know what a Trojan horse is?
What?
Trojan horse. Do you know what the Trojans did with the horse? The horse. You know what the Trojans did with the horse? Huh?
Trojanцы.
Trojan.
Trojanski konj.
Yes. How do you say it?
Trojanski.
All right. You know the
Yeah,
Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Yes? They filled this horse full of people, and they said, I'm giving you a gift. And they rolled it into the fortress, and all these men jumped out and took over the fortress. Yes? Okay. This leadership course is a kind of a Trojan horse for this ontological, phenomenological method of learning. I know that's hard to understand right now. And we need to know that it's really effective and does what it says, but there's not any tools to measure. See, these two guys had an ontological shift in running the experiment. You can see it in their face. They changed. Can you see that? They're not quite the same people that were here a week ago. Now, how can we prove that what we're doing is useful? I mean, you can see it, but how could you measure it? You'll see it as, as we go on, one by one, each one of you'll pop. And you'll be different and act differently. And we can't measure that. The tools haven't been invented yet to measure it. So we're going to measure it with a psychological tool and see if this makes a difference, this course makes a difference in some standard psychological tools. And this is the Hudson's Index. And this one measures your degree of contentment. Right? We're going to use an intervention in your life called the leadership course, yes?
What contentment means?
What mean?
Contentment.
Content. Satisfied, fulfilled, like content. Okay? So we're going to measure your contentment, and we're going to measure it now, and at the end of the course, and see if it makes a difference. We're going to measure your self-esteem according to this standardized tool, and your relationships with your peers, with each other. I'm going to have you do that now, and then at the end of the course, we're going to see if this course made a difference in those areas. Even though that the promise of the course has nothing to do with this, it's about leadership, being a leader, and effective exercise of leadership is your natural self-expression. We're still going to measure this. This will be the first time that this has been done on the planet. You'll be the first ones. And we may publish, in articles. But I want to keep your identity confidential, so we aren't going to say, she scored a this and now she scored a that. When we aren't going to say that, we're going to have, a distribution curve and how scientists do that stuff. So I want you to take these 3 tests very quickly. Here's the first one. Can you read this? Can you see it? Okay, if you get closer, could you? All right. The questionnaire is designed to measure the degree of contentment that you are about your life and surroundings. It's not a test, so there's no right or wrong answers. Answer each item carefully and accurately as you can, placing a number beside each one as follows. I'll read them to you. Okay, so open it, get a new piece of paper, and you're going to go down to 25. You're not going to write these, but just, 1 through 25. Okay? 3 is some of the time, 4 is a good part of the time, and 5 is most of the time. Okay? So the first question is, 1, I feel powerless to do anything about my life. You don't have to write them all down. You just put 1 and then put a blank next to it, and then you put rarely, a little, some, a good part, or most of the time. If it's most of the time, you put a 5. That's right? You got that part? Oh, good, good. Now then, the second one is I feel blue.
What does it mean?
1 is rarely, 2 a little, 3 some, 4 a good part, 5 most.
Can you explain?
Huh?
Feels hot.
Blue.
Yes.
Ah, you don't have blue. In fact, blue means gay, right? Blue boy? Right? So I don't mean that. Feel blue. You guys don't have that expression, huh? Feel, it's like sad. Sad, blue. I have the blues. I'm singing the blues. And jazz music is about singing the blues, right? Now you can move up if you want to read these and do this faster, then I can't walk.
Okay, I just want you to read the first question, I think.
Yeah, but just move up here, and so you can read those things and then answer them. 2 is I feel blue. 3, now you can. 3 is I'm restless and I can't keep still.
Can you make it bigger, please? A picture.
Yeah, I would like to, but let me see. Does this,
Oh, thank you.
does that help?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give her a piece of paper?
She can
Huh?
She can't write.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. Got it.
I am.
Now can you read it? Huh?
What means crying spells?
Crying spells. Do you know what crying is?
Yeah.
And then you cry for a while. And then you stop and then you cry for a while. Right, like you cry. You have periods of crying. That's it. Periods of crying. I have periods of crying. It's easy for me to relax. I have a hard time getting started on things that I need to do. Are you filling this out? You aren't going to be here as like a regular part of the course. You don't have to. You don't know. Okay. Downtrodden. Oh my. It's like somebody pushes you down and they walk on you. That's down. Down is like down, and trodden means to walk over. Yeah? Yes?
Turn to someone means asking for help.
Which?
In 8, turn to someone means asking
Yes.
for help.
When things get tough, I feel there is always someone I can turn to.
Someone who can help me.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Somebody will be there for me. Did you get them done already? Okay. I'll tell you the next part. See those numbers in the bottom? 5, 8, 9, 11. Take those numbers, like 5, and reverse where you have a 5 and make that a 1. You reverse them. A 5 becomes a 1, a 4 a 2, a 2 a 4, and then a 1 a 5. So you reverse the scores that are bold at the bottom here. I'm going to pause this.